YouTube. So this is my second time filming this. I'm going to try to shot this video so that I can just upload it and I don't have to edit it. I got a new mic, so hopefully you guys can hear me and everything's going swell. I've tested it multiple times. I'm not about to test it again. Don't want to do that again. But yeah, the mic is working fine. I know y'all can hear me. If you don't, turn your volume up or clean your ears out. I don't know what to tell you. No, I'm playing. But yeah, you couldn't tell by today's title, we're talking about Euphoria. And this is just a rambling video. I don't have any clear-cut points. I just want to talk about a show that I like. And I want to talk about what I like. And I want to talk about what I didn't like. And I'm going to strive to make this video like anywhere from like 20 to 35 minutes. I think that's a decent amount of time. But so I have a list of characters, and yeah, I'm just gonna talk about what I liked and what I didn't, particularly for season 2, but I'm gonna be talking about things from season 1 also. I'm just talking about Euphoria because it's Euphoria. There's so much to talk about. I have an energy drink here with me because I took some Benadryl. I am drowsy and my allergies are trying to murder me, but it's okay. Okay, so we start season 2 off learning about Fezco and his grandma, which was a pretty good way to start off season 2, if I do say so, because you know, we got to learn about all the other characters in season 1, but we left your boy Fezco out. We didn't know what was happening with Fezco, and we didn't really know what was Fezco's background. So yeah, I thought that was a really good way to start off season 2. I'm about to move my mic, okay? Okay, so I moved my mic. It's good. But yeah, we start season 2 off learning about Fezco and learning about his grandmother and Fezco's past. And I thought that was really the way to start off season 2. I'm like, yes, we finally get to see an insight into Fezco's life. I really wasn't expecting the background story that we got with Fezco. It was very surprising. Like, I just never would have thought that. And so I think Sam Levinson his writing is pretty good, and he writes pretty well for these characters. I really enjoy a lot of the ideas that he comes up with for these characters. Is really good. Fezco's grandmother is a bad bitch. She's a bad bitch. And I really like how she was handling shit and just was about her business. But it was kind of a toxic environment to raise your child in, to raise any child in, because she was a violent person. She ain't play. And she was like brutally honest. She was like just a bad bitch. She ain't play. And I really like that about Fezco's grandmother. And I'm so proud of Fezco for beating Nate's ass. I'm so proud that he did that. Like, that's probably a weird thing to say, but Nate needs his ass beat more than once. Fezco's grandmother is that bitch. She's really awesome. And we learned about how Ashtray came to be. Ashtray isn't even Fezco's family. Like, that nigga was just dropped off and never ever to be seen again by his mother. So that's kind of sad for Ashtray. And also, poor Ashtray, he got fucking shot. The cops fucking killed him. But what else were we expecting to happen? That little boy was firing like it was nobody's business. And he brought his own demise. He brought that onto himself, honestly, because Fezco was like, bruh, stop, just come out. But I feel like even if Ashtray stopped and he came out, they would have bop bop. The police are trigger happy, just like how Ashtray was, and they would have bop bopped his ass. I feel like Ashtray still would have died regardless. But if Ashtray would have never started firing, and he just would have listened to Fezco the very first time, well, Ashtray wouldn't be dead, and Fezco wouldn't have a bullet in his stomach. So there's that. I don't really know who to blame when it comes to Ashtray being the impulsive preteen boy he was. I don't know who to blame. We can blame the environment. We can blame Fezco. It's a mixture of a lot of things, and unfortunately, we just have to sum it up to, you know, Ashtray not having his parent in his life, not having good parents in his life to protect him from living a life like that. And, you know, Fezco was just kind of forced into this lifestyle because of his grandmother and having to be raised by her. So yeah, it was just like a unfortunate straight up event. I do like how it was kind of realistic in a way. Some of the show was a little realistic. Some of the show isn't that realistic. I hope that he's somewhere healing. Maybe I feel like when season 3 comes, we're gonna see Fezco like coming out of the hospital, and like we're gonna see Lexi and Fezco like reunite and hug. But then right after coming out of the hospital, he's gonna have to go to jail because he's a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer, and he's responsible for Ashtray's murdering of Mouse. I hope I got that right. I hope I'm remembering it right, that Ashtray did murder Mouse. And it wasn't Fezco, because Fezco isn't impulsive like Ashtray is. From what I can recall, I remember Ashtray just being impulsive and very defensive and wanting to protect Fezco. And I remember him just fucking shooting the shit out of Mouse. He shot him. He either shot him or he stabbed him. Or slit his throat, I mean. One of those. He did something. Ashtray was responsible for killing Mouse, and he was responsible for killing Mouse's side-hand man, who was Faye's boyfriend. I can't remember that nigga's name. He wasn't important anyway. Faye was more important than he will ever be in any damn day. But yeah, that was a good way to start off the season. Like, I really enjoyed learning about Fezco. It made me love Fezco even more. He's so cute. Fezco is, like, awesome. And I want nothing but good things to happen to Fezco. But realistically, like, I don't know what's going to happen to Fezco being in jail. This is a drama show, so, like, what is he going to do when he gets out of jail, right? What's going to happen when he gets out of jail? Or how is he going to avoid... Just, what's going to happen in season 3? I just need to know. I just need to know. I just need to know what's going to happen in season 3 because I need answers. Okay. So we talked about Fezco, we talked about Ashtray, we talked about how impulsive Ashtray is because of the environment he grew up in, and, you know, he just wants to protect himself, he wants to protect his business, and he also wants to protect Fezco. Like, Ashtray kind of had good intentions, but because he's a child and unfortunately just is kind of ignorant and impulsive, he ended up getting himself murdered, and he ended up hurting Fezco in the middle of it. Like, if I was Fezco, I'd have been like, Ashtray, stop! You shot me! Yes, I would have been like, Ashtray, fucking stop, you shot me, bro. I don't know why Fezco didn't say shit. He just kept calling Ashtray's name, but he wasn't listening. I feel like Ashtray would have stopped if he heard Fezco say, you shot me. The bullet went straight into my kidney. Stop. Like, that would have been my reaction, bruh. I would have... That entire episode was insane. What was that? Episode 7? Where all of that went down? Well, episode 7 carried into episode 8, but like, that was just fucking insane. And I'm just like, why is this fucking child not listening? Why does he not listen to Fezco? Like, it's like, I think Ashtray is so wrapped up in the idea of protecting his business, protecting grandma, and protecting Fezco that, like, he doesn't want to listen to sound advice. He doesn't want to listen to advice that's good for him. He just wants to do whatever he wants to do because he's impulsive and he's Ashtray. Okay, Ashtray is very sure of himself, very cocky not even teenager, preteen boy. So we talked about Fezco, Ashtray, grandma. Now we're gonna talk about Rue, Jules, Elliot, Leslie, Gia. We're gonna talk about like all of them because I'm gonna just be talking about all of them and just like together, I guess. Let's start off with Rue. So in season 2, we saw Rue and Jules kind of like try to be in a relationship and like make things work, while Rue is also hiding the fact that she's back on drugs because Jules left her at the damn train station when Rue was like, I don't want to go. And that's why they was having that fucking big ass. Well, Rue added that into the argument they were having. She was like, "You fucking left me at my worst." I was like, "Ooh, damn." I'm just like, "Ugh." I was watching that entire scene. Rue just coming for Jules' throat, and Jules was just taking it, still being like, "But I love you though. Like I love, like I don't care. You can say all of this, but like I love you still." It was very interesting to see her take all of that in, and then Rue. I really feel like Rue was blowing it out of proportion. I don't know what else she expects her friends to do. How can you, like, you had a whole thing of drugs up in your bedroom, and you're supposed to be clean underneath your mom's house, underneath your mom's roof. Rue's supposed to be clean while she's living there. I don't understand how she expected anyone to keep their mouth shut, because I'm pretty sure if anybody found out, they would tell. And the only reason why Elliot didn't tell is because he doesn't know Rue the same way people knew Rue before Elliot came around, you know? So, honestly, I don't blame Jules for telling on Rue, and I don't think it was a bad thing that Jules told, because Rue would have been fucking dead. We would have saw Rue die, or at least go back to the hospital. And Rue has been through a lot. The last thing she needs is to go back to the hospital or die from drug abuse. Like, she doesn't need that. She needs to heal and find love and compassion for herself and heal her relationship with her mother and her sister. I think that'd be best for Rue. I would really love that for Rue. I think Rue needs that because she lost her dad, and I think that her mom will love her even though Rue is a drug addict and she isn't the same person anymore. She's violent, manipulative, all of these other things. But even with those negative character traits, I just don't lose hope for her, because you kind of can't. You kind of can't. Like, you want these characters to get better and become better people. At least I do. I can't. The only person I wish true downfall for is Nate. He's the only person I wish to never see positivity ever again in his life. So yeah, I'm proud of Jules for telling on Rue. It was the best thing she could have done, and it's the best way for Rue to stay on this planet and heal. I thought it was so funny when Rue hit Ellie in the head. That was hilarious. He kind of does deserve that, and he's going to get more of it when Rue finds out that him and Jules were smooching. How the fuck does Elliot still want to be friends with Rue, even though he was like basically helping her continue on with her drug addiction? He was making out with his girlfriend. I wanted to say fucking her, but we didn't actually see them have sex. We just saw them like make out and kind of like grind up against each other. I don't think Jules and Elliot ever had sex. I think they just were always making out. Even that night when Jules spent the night and Elliot found out about, not Elliot, when Elliot told Jules about Rue being on drugs, I don't even think they had sex that night, because who in their right mind about to have sex after finding out that their loved one is back on drugs? Like, you wanna go somewhere and cry, you know? You don't wanna have sex. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't fucking know. I just think it's unfair for Elliot to ask for friendship after all of that, because it's like, you're a homewrecker. You don't deserve no one's friendship. You need to like go somewhere else, go to a different high school and fuck up their lives. Elliot genuinely was just there to like cause drama between Rue and Jules, to give Rue and Jules more in their relationship, I guess. Elliot was just there to cause havoc between Jules and Rue. Like, he doesn't even have much of a personality. Yeah, Elliot is a corny character. He's whack. And then he tried to like sing that little song. That song, I feel like he was saying, like, in a way he was trying to apologize to Rue for being such a shitty human being. But Rue couldn't even really understand or comprehend why he was singing this song. She would never know that he was like apologizing to her, because she isn't aware that Jules and Elliot were making out behind her back. And shame on Jules too. Like, Jules is a terrible fucking girlfriend. How dare you do that to Rue? Even though Rue was on drugs and she probably shouldn't have been on drugs, but like, you can't build a relationship off of saying, okay, the only way I'm going to be with you is if you become clean. Like, no, that ain't gonna last. That's not how you get a drug addict to do anything. You're not gonna get that drug. The drug addict is not going to stay clean for you. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. Like, no, they're not gonna stay clean for you. So, like, it was just unfair for Jules to even ask that of Rue in the first place, and it was unfair for them to get in a relationship in the first place too, because Rue isn't gonna get better. She's distracted. Jules is a distraction from Rue and what she really needs to be focusing on, which is trying to understand her bipolar depression, trying to understand her OCD, and also trying to understand her pain that's connected to her father. Jules is a distraction from all of that, and so are the drugs too. But even when Rue is high on drugs, she still can't help but to think about the pain of her and her dad. So even the drugs aren't helping her numb that shit out. You know, that's something that's going to haunt her. That's like her shadow self is begging to be seen, begging to be acknowledged, begging to be dealt with. But Rue just keeps pushing it down with drugs. She keeps trying to cover it up. She keeps trying not to deal with it. But we see in episode 8, I believe, where she connects with Lexi about, you know, her dad, about Lexi's dad also being a drug addict. I see in that scene there, I see Rue, I just see her character like grew a little bit in that scene, because Rue was being vulnerable with someone who once was her very close friend. And I thought that was a very beautiful scene. It made me feel so happy watching Rue and Lexi have that very intimate conversation. It made me so happy. And every time I see Lexi and Rue together on screen, I'm just like, yes! Because, like, I just want them to rekindle their friendship again and become besties again, because I feel like Lexi is such a good influence for Rue. And I feel like Rue needs someone who is good for her, who will hold her down and keep her in reality. Jules does not keep Rue in reality. Jules keeps Rue in this very dreamy world. Jules has had a very difficult past, and fuck her mom. Fuck her mom. Jules' mom, fuck her. I'm glad Jules has a loving, wonderful father in her life. Like, her dad is that nigga. Love him. I want to see more of him too. Like, I want to see Jules' dad talk more with Lexi. I mean, not Lexi, Leslie, Rue's mom. I want to see that happen more. That was really cute. I love seeing Leslie not having to deal with Rue being destructive. I love seeing Leslie happy, because she really deserves that. Even though she kind of did bring this onto herself, I don't think Leslie is aware of the fact that because Rue was on drugs from a very young age, that this is part of the reason why she is struggling the way she is now. And the only reason why Rue was on those drugs at such a young age is because her mom allowed this to happen. So I think Leslie needs to take some sort of responsibility for that. But, like, even if she did, what else is there to do? Like, at this point now, Rue is just actively participating in drugs. She has a mind of her own now. She's making the decision to do this. And so I'm actually really proud of Leslie telling Rue that, you know, you can do all the drugs that you want, but you're not going to be living underneath my roof. I'm going to focus on your sister, and you have to get your shit together on your own, because I tried to tell you that your life means more. I tried to tell you, but you don't believe me, so you have to figure it out for yourself. And I really want Rue to figure that shit out for herself. But I'm glad someone was honest with her like that, because she needs that. Rue needed someone to be honest with her like that. And so I'm glad Rue has Ali, and I'm glad Rue has Leslie, because they're going to keep it real, they're going to keep it 100. And Rue needs that. She don't need someone that's going to treat her like how Elliot did. Elliot basically was like, okay, we can continue to do drugs together. I don't give a fuck. That's why Elliot ain't shit. I honestly didn't think much about Elliot, because that nigga ain't got no personality. He ain't got no fucking personality. And at first, I kind of felt bad for Elliot. I'm like, damn, Rue done fucking cussed this nigga out. He was just trying to help. But then I'm like, now I'm like, nah. Because why were you actively making out with Jules? Like, I was so confused this season too because Jules was acting like she was not in a whole ass relationship with Rue. That I was like so confused. I'm like, so is this some sort of open relationship that I missed something? I'm I ain't missed shit. Jules is a homewrecker too. Like, this is like one thing that the characters all have in common is this are these self-destructive tendencies. Like it's like something in their water that's like forcing them to be these self-destructive ass people because they don't know any better. They don't want any better. These people love to cause mayhem and destruction in their lives. The only person who like just can't really deal with that or can't really handle it is Lexi. She can like handle it, but like she isn't destructive like how everyone else is. At least I haven't seen her be destructive. Lexi's like the only person who's like kind of sane, and that's why I really like Lexi. I feel like I am Lexi. She is an observer, and I would say that I am too. I don't even like getting in. I don't like getting in the mess. I'd rather just observe. I'm not a confrontational person. Like, so I would have done something similar that what Lexi did to Cassie. Like, I would have put on a play too to expose the fuck out of people, to expose the fucking darkness in my life that I just witnessed. Like, Lexi was just trying to make sense of it all, and Cassie, that her fucking feelings hurt. I can't stand Cassie. I don't fucking like her. I don't like her character at all. I think she's a brat. I think she's a bitch. I think Cassie is a bitch. I really don't like her character. You can have whatever opinions about Cassie. That's why I have whatever opinions I have about her too. But I just don't fucking like her. I think she's so whack. I think she's so fake. And that shit that she said about Rue, basically calling her a drug addict, and the only reason why, like, why would you believe her? She's a drug addict. Like, no, try again. Try again. Try again. I'm so glad Maddie actually believed Rue. I'm so glad that Maddie was like, because Maddie already had suspicions in the first place. Cassie, why the fuck you coming to school in the same outfit as your bestie? Now, it would have been different if Cassie was like, Maddie, let's dress up similarly together and like go to school in kind of like matching outfits and let's look cute and be besties. Like, it would have been different. Maddie probably would have been down for that. She would have been like, yes, oh. But no, Cassie is putting on a fucking performance to get the attention of Nate, and Nate don't give a fuck about her. That very first time where she got up at 4 a.m. to get all glammed up, and he just fucking was like, ugh. He just brushed past her, and she was like, she was all like fucking scared and shit. Like, bitch. The first time that happened, I was shook. I was like, oh. I was like, no, Nate didn't do that. But then the very next scene, Cassie's back at it again, waking up at 4 a.m., scrubbing her body down, moisturizing her body, doing all this crazy shit for a nigga who's not paying any fucking attention to her. Your self-worth has got to be in hell. Her self-worth is in hell. It's gonna take a lot of building for that shit to come up and to be high, and for her to love herself and see herself as someone worthy of respect, love, and care. Because obviously right now, Cassie don't think that she's deserving of love. Good love. She thinks that Nate loves her. Cassie is in this weird ass dream world where she can do nothing wrong, and everything that she's doing, there's, you know, she can't suffer any consequences for it. She's not doing anything wrong, and the only reason why Cassie doesn't think she's doing Cassie doesn't think she's doing anything wrong, and she's stuck at this little girl age. She's like stuck there. She won't grow up, and I truly believe that Cassie is genuinely struggling with some deep, complex daddy issues, because in episode 7, I believe, or episode 8, one of those, but we see Nate and Cassie together, I believe in Nate's bedroom, and Nate is like helping her get ready for the day, and she's like, you can tell me who I can talk to, you can tell me what I can wear, you can basically be in control of me, like, That's something fathers do. Not fathers, but like that's something a parent would do. A parent will get you ready for school. Cassie's acting like she's some little girl that needs to be taken care of. Like their dynamic is similar to what a parent would be to a child, but it's like on top of that, Nate is very abusive and toxic, and I just think their whole relationship is very fucking icky. It's very fucking nasty, and it needs to end. It needs to end. But it probably won't. They probably will go through some sort of weird fucking karmic cycle, some sort of weird repetitive karmic cycle, like how Maddie was going through with Nate. I don't know how Cassie's gonna get out of her relationship with Nate. But oh well, bitch. You better suffer with that nigga now. You chose him. You think he loves you. You think he loves you, so suffer with him now. That's your man now. Deal with all his garbage. Deal with his gay ass who don't actually want to be gay. Deal with that. Yeah, deal with that, because you think that that's love. You think that that is what's gonna carry you on. So yeah, deal with him and all his toxicity.
Okay. Well, if that makes me a villain, then so fucking be it.
She chose to be with this guy. We even see her like at the beginning of the season talking about, I feel so bad. Why am I doing this? I don't understand. Maddie's my best friend. We shouldn't be doing this. But then goes right back every Friday to get some dick. And then she's talking about, I just love how our relationship is secretive. Like, ooh, I wanted to physically throw up every organ in my body. I wanted to just die right there watching that shit. I was so turned off. I'm like, come on now, Sam. Less of this. Less of this. I can't take it. I was not fucking with that shit at all. I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. Ooh. It was like some of the worst romantic love I have ever seen in my life. And it was just very glamorized. Like, but we are seeing Cassie kind of suffer from this relationship. Like, that scene where Lexi's playing and she basically gets up to go in the bathroom and fucking cry. And put a smile over her pain. Cassie, first of all, needs to treat her sister like that's her fucking sister. She needs to treat her as if that's someone she grew up with. And like Lexi, I would say that Lexi loves Cassie for who she is, even though Cassie was kind of a bitch to her whole life. But I still do believe that Lexi loves her and wants to see her become better, get better, and have better. I don't think Lexi's intentions were bad with that play at all, but Cassie is sensitive and she thinks the world revolves around her, and that's why she was so happy playing the villain. Like, she's like, fine, fine. I'm just gonna play the fucking villain. I don't have to get better. I don't need to get better. I am allowed to stay in this toxic place because I say so. I don't have to get any better. All I have to say about Cassie is that she's fucking sad. She's sad, and I think that at any moment she can decide that she deserves better. But yeah, I'm proud of Maddie. I'm proud that Maddie is out of that relationship with Nate. I think that what Maddie did to Cassie was fine, but she should have took it to that next level. But I don't ever see Maddie like genuinely beating the shit out of Cassie, like how Fezco beat Nate. The only reason why Fezco was even able to beat Nate's ass like that is because Fezco can't fucking stand the sight of Nate. And he can't stand the sight of Fezco's family. I mean, Nate's family either. My medication, my Benadryl, that shit got my brain loopy doopy. Sorry. Like, I'm trying my best. Hopefully we get to see Maddie have some sort of redemption and actually get better. But we didn't get to see a lot of like the girls this season. We didn't get to see a lot of Jules. We didn't get to see a lot of Kat. We didn't really see Maddie that much. Only time we got to see Maddie was when she was, you know, being the babysitter and taking care of that little boy. But even when we saw her in those moments, she was thinking about Nate, and she was like, oh, I can't stand being single. I love being in a relationship. She was actually thinking about going back to someone who physically hurt her multiple times. That is something I can never make sense of. That is just something I just can't make sense of. I've written a paper about domestic violence, so I completely understand how hard it is to get out of relationships like that. But I feel like if you've gotten out, do not go back. Please, you have to understand that you deserve better. And I think that's what all of these characters have to understand. None of them get it that they deserve better, other than Lexi. Lexi and Fezco are like the only people who know that they deserve better, and they're trying to get there. I believe Fezco was he was really trapped in this world of drugs and all of this stuff, because that was just the life that was built for him. But now that he's about to go to jail and stuff, maybe when he gets out, he can start to build up a different life for himself and start to do something different. But Fezco might just go back to doing the drugs, because that's the only life that he knows. Not actually taking them, but like selling drugs. I think that Maddie should talk to Cassie. They don't have to be friends. I don't think they ever should go back to being friends. They probably could though, but Cassie would have to like do a lot of apologizing, and they would have to take it really slow, because Cassie ain't shit. I can never understand trusting her ever again. She is as untrustable as Nate is. That's kind of like why they're low-key perfect for each other, because they're both terrible people. Terrible meets terrible and creates more terrible. I'm proud of Maddie though. I hope that in season 2 she's like doing something more with her life. Maybe she's modeling. In season 3, maybe she's modeling, or she's like going to school for like fashion design, something. I want to see Maddie basically just having better, doing better, and she isn't wrapped up in that East Highland high school life, you know. And I hope she genuinely moves on from Nate. But I think that Maddie should talk to Cassie a little bit more about Nate, and maybe try to convince her to get out of that relationship. But Maddie probably won't. She thinks that Cassie deserves whatever's coming for her. I genuinely do. I think like Cassie was well aware of the fact that Nate wasn't shit. And then on top of that, Cassie, how the fuck do you fall in love for a nigga who bullied you and made fun of you your whole life? When Lexi said that shit, she just was like, I'm gonna cry more. I'm just gonna sit here and cry more. That's why her mom and Lexi was just letting her have an emotional fucking breakdown, because they know that what she did was bad. Like, how do you do that to your best friend? How do you give your best friend a photo book of you and her looking happy, filters, all these cute pictures of you guys, but you're fucking her boyfriend? Do you know how quickly I would have burned that fucking book in her face? I'm like, Cassie, remember you gave me this shit on my birthday? I'm burning it. I would have burnt it in her face, because Cassie don't deserve nothing good. And Cassie kind of got lucky, because all she did was get her head booped into a fucking brick wall. That bitch should have got her fucking throat stepped on, and she should have got fucked up. She should have got fucked up by Lexi, and she should have got fucked up by Maddie. There's been several times where I wanted Lexi to slap the shit out of Cassie. Like, don't let your sister talk to you like this. Don't let your sister treat you like this. Several times I wanted to do that. Wanted Lexi to do that, but I think the way Lexi went about it was better than actually physically beating on her sister. Like, I probably shouldn't be condoning violence, but I am, because some people need it. Like how Fezco was saying, how Fezco told Lexi, like he was like some people need to get their feelings hurt, and Lexi was like, you're right about that one. Cassie was one of those people, and she might need it again and again and again until she fucking gets it right. These people love to cause destruction in their life. They love destruction. They love it all. Like, they don't know anything outside of that. And so they must keep the cycle going, because they don't know anything else. They don't know how to be better. They don't know how to do better. Nothing. When Nate called the cops on his dad, well, I think that's the best ending that could be for Cal. Because it was either Cal goes to jail or Cal gets murdered by his son. And I want to see how Nate is going to take over his father's business. I was watching this girl on YouTube named Amanda. She makes like commentary and beauty content. Love her content. She was talking about like, how is Nate going to take over his father's business? Because once people find out what Cal did, why would they continue to support him? But I think that Nate has, he's a puppet master. He has tricks up his sleeve. He's 10 steps ahead of people. So I think that Nate already has something rolling for him. Like, people are going to find out about Cal being this pedophile, but Nate's going to come around and like kind of like change things around and make things seem better, and he's going to take over the business and kind of like change the trajectory of the business. I don't know. I think Nate just has some tricks up his sleeve. He ain't gonna let shit just crumble. Nate is too smart for his own fucking good. Back to Cassie, but like, because there's a lot to say about her, and this video is kind of just all over the place. I'm just chatting, you know, just chatting. Back to Cassie. Cassie girl, how do you stay with Nate even when Nate is telling you like Maddie's never going to be your friend again, Maddie's never going to talk to you again? Like, what is wrong with Cassie? What is going on with her? I really need Sam to explain to us what's going on inside Cassie's brain, because I want to understand why she thinks this is okay. She's living in this lie that because Nate and Maddie were broken up, that, you know, she really wasn't doing anything wrong. But this is your friend's ex-boyfriend, and on top of that, he was abusive to her. What makes you think he's not going to abuse you? What makes you think he's going to treat you any better? Because you allow him to basically be your puppeteer or your puppet master, because you basically allow him to take control of you, you think that's what's gonna save your relationship and allow you to just continue to be loved by him. Why does Cassie want to be loved by Nate? Right? Like, these are certain things that I'm just like not understanding about her character. Like, why would she want to be loved by Nate? Why does she think that Nate loves her? Personally, I think that she's wrapped up in this dreamland where nothing is real, and even herself isn't real. Like, she's not operating from a realistic version of Cassie. In season 1, I would say she was more Cassie than she is Cassie now. Like, the Cassie that we're getting in season 2 is the fakest she's ever been. She's performing like her best friend. She's being Nate's second version of Maddie. She's being the manipulative version of Maddie that Nate wanted, right? Nate just wants someone to take advantage of and, you know, manipulate and control. And I'm glad Maddie got out of that, but, you know, now Cassie got to deal with that shit. And honestly, I can't feel no pity for her, because she was well aware of this nigga's terrible habits before she even got with him. And this nigga was also making fun of her, and she's still like, I don't care. Like, her self-esteem is nowhere in sight. She doesn't have any. She doesn't have a self-esteem. She doesn't care about herself. I can't feel bad for Cassie. Like, I can't take pity out on her, because she just brought this all onto herself. I can't feel bad for her. I'm sorry. I can't. These characters are a fucking mess. And Cassie decided to be with the messiest nigga in East Highland. Girl. A cat over here lying to Ethan, talking about a fucking brain tumor in her brain. Even if she had a fucking brain tumor in there, wouldn't Ethan want to continue to be with her and by her side? It's like, Kat, why weren't you honest in the first place? That was some of the corny shit she's ever done. And she even herself was like, once that shit was over with, she was like, oh, why did I do that? What the fuck just happened? Like, bitch, don't pretend like you don't know what the fuck you doing or why you did that shit. Is Kat now some sort of chronic liar? She's just gonna turn into a fucking chronic liar now? Like, Ethan didn't deserve that. What Ethan deserved was honesty, because he never treated her wrong. He's always loved her for who she was. Even before they got into a relationship, he always enjoyed her for who she was. And Kat loved the attention she was getting from him. Even if you didn't want to be in a relationship with him, even if you were like, okay, this isn't working for me, this isn't the type of relationship that I want, I feel like Ethan would have been understanding of that. I feel like they could have been good friends. And I bet she was watching that fucking play like, wow, Ethan is awesome, and I just kind of like ruined all of this for us because I decided to fucking lie. But I hope in season 3 she redeems herself and she talks to Ethan and they like try to work the shit out and they can go back to being friends, because they had a really good friendship. Like when we saw them at the carnival, they were having fun until Kat fucking saw him talking to that girl and got the whole entire thing misconstrued. See, Kat is passive aggressive and like, I just don't like that. I'm passive aggressive too though, so I can't be too mad at her. I'm just like, these characters need some healing, cause these niggas broken on the inside. They're broken, and like we really didn't get to see too much of Kat. Like we didn't even really dive deeper into this, you know, her having that whole scene with the influencers telling her that she needs to be beautiful and see herself as beautiful. We didn't even get to see Kat deal with any of that. So I definitely need Sam Levinson to tap back into these characters and stop giving us things for shock value, you know? Like, he focused a lot on Cal this season. Like, we spent like, what, 4 episodes learning about Cal? I don't know. And then we had that whole last episode where Rue went on a fucking rampage. Like, how can Rue steal all this shit from these people? How was she not locked up in prison? How come she wasn't locked up the exact day she was doing all of that shit? It just wasn't really realistic, because like Rue should really be like in jail right now or something. Because even though I love Rue and I want nothing good for her, but like, girl, you're not just about to steal a bunch of shit and then go off easy deasy, go off like nothing didn't happen. You about to, she got some shit coming for her season 3. What's that drug dealer lady name? Lauren. She was a teacher. She used to be a teacher. She got some shit coming for her, because not only did you escape out her fucking house, but you ain't pay her money back. I'm mad at Rue for even thinking that she could do that. Like, when I was watching all of this go down, I'm just like, Rue, you ain't shit. Because how the fuck you think you gonna pay this woman back? How did she think she was gonna pay her back? And then she gets all upset at her mom for for getting rid of the pills and throwing them away. She gets all upset at her mom for that shit. Like, girl, you shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know what you should have did? You should have suffered while you were sober. That's what you should have did. You should have suffered in the soberness. I'm sorry. I'm probably not being as empathetic as I should be, or sympathetic as I should be, but sometimes you gotta stop cutting people chances. Rue has not been a good person to her mom or her sister, so I don't blame her mom or her sister for throwing away those drugs and flushing them down the toilet. In some cases, these characters don't deserve too much empathy because they really bring it on to themselves. Like Cassie, she could have chose not to hang out with Nate. She could have chose to, I don't know, not fuck him, but instead she was intoxicated and Nate took control of her at her worst. But even still, I just feel like Cassie is also responsible for why she's in this relationship with Nate. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to end good. It's going to be a wild ride. Anything else I want to talk about that happened in season 2? Rue talking about when Rue had those drugs in that suitcase and Alia was like, girl, what's this? And then she decided to fucking throw his past in his face. I know that shit had to hurt. I was like, Rue, come on, sis. This man ain't never did wrong by you. I think I covered everything. I don't know if I really did. And it's not a big deal if I didn't, because there's so much that happened in the show. Like, I feel like I'd be here talking for hours about this show if I tried to cover everything. But yeah, I definitely want to continue this conversation. We should definitely continue it in the comments, for sure. I can't think of anything else that I want to say about these characters, but also I have to use the bathroom, so that's probably why I'm not thinking too much about what else I want to say. But I thought that overall for this season, for season 2, I thought that it was decent. I thought it was alright, but a lot of the stuff that was happening in season 2 was just strictly for shock value, and I didn't think that that was cool. I want to see more realistic things happen to these characters. I want to learn more about why Jules is on these hookup sites and why Jules feels the need to constantly hook up with older men, and why Jules was doing that shit with Elliot. Like, I definitely think she was doing that shit with Elliot because she doesn't like the idea of someone being dependent on her. She doesn't like the idea of being in a relationship. She doesn't really enjoy being in a relationship with a drug addict, right? And I think that Jules cannot be held down. She's like a really free-spirited person, and she shouldn't be trying to force herself into some sort of relationship, especially when she's coming from a past of constantly hooking up. That's all she's used to. So of course she cheats on Rue. And I'm talking really fast because I want to get this over with. So of course she cheats on Rue, and that kind of makes Jules not shit because, like, I thought she cared about Rue, and it's not fair for Jules to be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, but when Rue isn't around, you want to fucking make out with Elliot and kiss on him and suck his dick and all this other shit. Like, that's not cute, Jules. None of the shit that she was doing in this season was fucking cute. Like, I was just really fucking disappointed by her. And I'm just like, this is some ugly ass behavior. Like, a lot of these characters have ugly behavior. Especially Cassie. Ugh. I do not like Cassie. I don't like Nate. Those two characters can really, like, go to hell. I don't fucking like them at all. I think Cassie is a brat. I think that she definitely needs some growing up to do. She definitely needs to apologize to her best friend too, ex-best friend, because ain't no way Maddie about to let that bitch be her bestie again. But yeah, I think that's all that I have to talk about. There are so many things that I like about the show. There are so many things that I think can improve on this show, and I think one of the things that can really improve is giving these characters more consequences, giving them more realistic consequences. Like, maybe when Kat is performing on Pornhub, maybe somebody walks in on her. Or how come when in season 1, when Kat was on Pornhub and she was on live with this guy who was on, like, he had like a black screen and like he basically wasn't showing his face and he was telling her what to do. Like, who was that? How come we didn't learn about who he was in season 2? How long are we gonna keep that a mystery? Like, why was Kat such a mystery this season? I wanna understand more about Kat, and I wanna understand more about Jules too. And yeah, so I hope in season 3 we can see more progression in Rue's story, especially with her owing that drug lady back. We'll probably see more progression in Fezco's story. Some of these characters, I feel like they kind of had like so many big things happen to them in season 2 that it's like, okay, what's next? Like, so much shock value happened in season 2 that it's like, how can you top that? How is Sam Levinson gonna top all the shock value that happened in season 2? Like, there was so much shock value that it was just like, you know, what the heck? So, my boyfriend's calling me right now, but I'm going to end this video. I definitely want to keep talking about this. Like, please comment some stuff in the comments. Let's keep talking about this. I really enjoy Euphoria, and I want the show to get better, and I want Sam Levinson to keep writing, and I want everyone on the show to win awards. One thing though, why the fuck is Drake a producer on the show? Like, how the fuck did he become a producer for the show? Like, what does Drake do? I was even trying to research it up. Nobody could tell me what this nigga does. In fact, none of the characters barely see him on set. Like, what is the purpose of Drake being there? He's just there for the money, but like, how did he get there? So many questions about this show. Anyways, I want Sam Levinson to write better for season 3, and I want a lot more to come out of season 3. I think that's it. Please, let's continue to talk about this in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you really liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked me. You can follow me on Instagram, which will be in my bio, or in the description box, I mean. And yeah, this video was kind of all over the place. I wanted it to make it seem like I was like on FaceTime with like one of my friends and we're just talking about Euphoria. There's probably some things that like I didn't even mention that I probably did want to mention, but it's not a big deal. Other than that, yeah, I want everyone to enjoy the rest of their day, and please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, that's me. that's all I had to say about Euphoria. Bye, you guys.